So, in order to get rid of convoy effects, several CPU scheduling algorithms were developed. Okay, so now I will teach you shortest job first. Shortest job first. So, it is a non-preemptive algorithm, just like first come first serve. Non-preemptive algorithm, and it has certain disadvantages. Sorry, it has certain advantages. Like here, throughput will increase, and it's better than first come first serve algorithm. So let me tell you how. So as the name suggests, shortest job first. It means what? Here, the shorter job will be given more priority. I will not use the term priority now because there is a separate CPU algorithm which is known as priority scheduling. So let me say a better word. So as the name suggests, shortest job first. What will happen here? Shorter job will be given CPU. Okay, here shorter job. Suppose among the jobs which has the among certain jobs which are present in the RAM, which are present in a ready queue, the job which has shortest time will be given a CPU. Okay, so it's better to give you a numerical example so that you can understand better. Like this. Okay. So here there are several processes. Process number, and arrival time is given 80. Then burst time, and then you have to calculate completion time, turnaround time, and then at the end you have to calculate waiting time. Okay. So let's assume there are 5 processes: P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, and their respective arrival times are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the burst time given is 75128. 75128. Okay. So here, let's draw the Gantt chart. Okay. So while solving these numericals, I will explain each and everything. What is shortest job first? Okay, don't worry. So let's draw the Gantt chart. Here you see the arrival time starts from 1, not from 0, unlike the previous case. So at 0 second, none of the process have been arrived. So from 0 to 1, it's blank because none of the process have been arrived. Okay. Now at t is equal to first second, you see, yes, at t is equal to 1, t means time. At t is equal to 1, process P1 has arrived. Okay. So, and none of the processes have been arrived except process 1, none of the processes have been arrived. So, CPU will be given to P1. Okay. And since it is a non-preemptive, P1 will run for 7 seconds. So 1 plus 7 is equal to 8. So the completion time of P1 is 8. Now, in this 1 to 8 seconds, which process arrived? P2 arrived at 2. You see, P2 arrived at 2. Is it visible? Okay. So P2 arrived at 2 seconds. It means what? At 2 seconds, P2 arrived. At 3 seconds, P3 arrived. At 4 seconds, P4 arrived. And at 5th second, P5 arrived. So when P1 was running from t is equal to 1 to t is equal to 8 seconds, so during these times, four process arrived, P2, P3, P4, P5. Now, among these four processes, since four processes have already been arrived, so among these four processes, CPU will be allocated to that process who has the lowest burst time. Okay, unlike the previous case, what used to happen in first come first serve algorithm? In that algorithm, since P2 arrived after P1, then you are bound to give CPU to P2, even it has the higher burst time. But here, in first come first serve algorithm, you have to give the CPU to the process which has the lower burst time. So which process has the lower burst time? First you will see how many processes have arrived from 1 to 8 seconds, P2, P3, P4, P5. Okay, these four processes has arrived. So just take the lowest burst time. Lowest burst time is this one, P3. P3 has the lowest burst time. So P3 will be allocated the CPU. So here you will allocate CPU to P3. Okay, and the burst time of P3 is 1. So P3 will run for 1 second. It means what? 8 plus 1, 9. So the completion time of P3 is 9. 9. Okay. So in these 9 seconds, So in these 9 seconds, how many processes have arrived? So the job of P3 is done. Okay. So now P1 and P3 has completed its task. So the remaining processes are P2, P4 and P5. And since P2, P4 and P5 has already arrived, so you have to pick the process with the lowest burst time among P2, P4 and P5. So which among P2, P4 and P5, which process has the lowest burst time? P2? No, P2 has burst time of 5 seconds. P4 has burst time of 2 seconds. P5 has burst time of 8 seconds. So you have to select P4. Okay. So now CPU will be allocated to P4. And P4 will run for 2 seconds. It means what? 9 plus 2, 11. Okay. So the task of P4 is also over. So just rough P4 from here. Okay. And what is the completion time of P4? 11 seconds. So now, how many jobs are left? P2 and P5. And P2 and P5 since have already been arrived. So just among P2 and P5, which process has the lowest burst time? P2, because P2 has the burst time of 5 seconds. So here CPU will be allocated to P2. Then 11 plus 5 is equal to 16. The task of P2 is over. Completion time of P2 is 16 seconds. And now P5 is left. So CPU will be allocated to P5 and P5 is 8 seconds, 16 plus 8, 24. Okay. So here you see, so its completion time is 24. So let's calculate the turnaround time. Completion time minus arrival time. Turnaround time of P1 is 8 minus 7, 1. Turnaround time of P2 is 16 minus 2, 14. Turnaround time of P3 is 9 minus 3, 6. Then P4, 11 minus 4, 7. Then 25 minus 4, 19. Now let's calculate the waiting time. So what's the waiting time? Waiting time of P1 is, I guess, turnaround time minus burst time. I think I've done something wrong here. Completion time, turnaround time is here 7 seconds. Completion time minus 8 minus 1, 7. Okay, now let's calculate the waiting time of P1. So turnaround time minus burst time is the formula. So turnaround time minus burst time. So waiting time of P1 is 0. Waiting time of P2 is 14 minus 5, 9. Then of P3, 6 minus 1, 5. Then 7 minus 2, 5. Then 19 minus 8. 19 minus 8, 11. Okay. So here you see, we have found that waiting time of all the processes. So here, just wait. So here, if you compare this waiting time with the waiting time of first come first serve, in the previous video, in the previous lecture, I calculated first come first serve time. Okay. Okay, I think it was of different data. Okay, just forget it. So here you see, all the task of all the process has been completed, and you see the process with lowest burst time. Here, that process doesn't have to wait longer. Suppose you see this process. P3 has the lowest burst time, so it has waited for 6 seconds. Okay, and then you see after P3, P4 has the lowest burst time, so it waited for 7 seconds. And you see after that P2 have the lowest burst time. After P3 and P4, P2 has the lowest burst time, so P2 waited for 14 seconds. So here I mean to say that the processes which have smaller burst time, these processes doesn't have to wait longer. Okay. So this is all about shortest job first. So let's calculate the average turnaround time. Average turnaround time. So what's the average turnaround time? 7 plus, you calculate 7 plus 14 plus 6 plus 7 plus 19 divided by 5. Number of processes are 5. So 14 plus 7, 21, 27, 34, 53 by 5. Okay, just a minute. So here, what's the average turnaround time? It's I guess 50, 10.6. And what's the average waiting time? It's 0 plus 9 plus 5, 14 plus 5, 19 plus 11, 30 by 5 is equal to 6. So we have calculated the average turnaround time and average wait time. And if they ask you, find out the number of context switches. So here, how many context switching happened? Here initially CPU was given to P1, so CPU switched from P1 to P3. So here one context switching happened, and after that CPU switched from P3 to P4. So 2, P4 to P2, 3, and P2 to P5, 4. So here how many context switching happened? 4 context switching. So number of context switching is equal to 4. Okay. So they ask generally these types of questions, and don't worry, I will solve some more tough questions. So what's the main advantage of shortest job first? Here the main advantage is that you can say waiting time will decrease and also turnaround time will decrease. Okay. You can say it has maximum throughput. Maximum throughput means what? Number of result per second. it will be more clear after some time. We will solve some previous years. There some questions have been asked regarding maximum throughput. There I will teach you how to calculate the maximum throughput. So things will be made more clear to you. So here, so what's the advantage? Let me write here. So should I rough it? Okay. Okay. Here I am roughing it. So what's the main advantage? Advantage is that maximum throughput and lower waiting time and turnaround time. Okay, these are the main advantages of shortest job first. But it has certain disadvantages also. So what these are? So one of the most important point is that here there is a starvation to longer jobs. So starvation to longer jobs, how? So you see, suppose if lower burst time processes comes earlier, and definitely they will execute first, and if longer burst time process will come at last, then it has to wait for long time until the process with lower burst time will get finished. So are you getting it? Here you see the process P5 has the highest burst time of 8 seconds, and you see it has to wait for longest for 11 seconds. Why? Because the processes which has lower burst time than this one, than process 5, has to be executed earlier. So here there is starvation to longer jobs.